This afternoon I'm going to talk about another one of my LPs that I've pulled out one of the boxes, and this time it's Nursery Cryme by Genesis. Great painting there, opens out properly. Show you. Painted by Paul Whitehead, who did 3 covers for Genesis. That's my particular favourite. I think it works really well with the music. It's a little bit scary, it's a little bit creepy, a little bit weird, just like the music. Quintessentially English, just like the music. So, Nursery Cryme by Genesis from 1971. This LP was the 3rd LP by the band, and it saw the arrival of 2 major players, Mr. Phil Collins and Steve Hackett on guitar. Now, Phil's backing vocals on this are particularly noticeable as they would be going forward, and it kind of changed the band's sound to a degree and added an element which at first you don't really notice, but when you listen to records before this and that lack of the Collins background vocal, there's considerable difference. So they recorded this at a place in Sussex, a house in Sussex owned by Tony Stratton Smith, the founder of Charisma Records. Charisma, of course, being the label that Genesis were on at the time. Now, this place is called Luxford House, which was a 16th century Grade 2 listed building, and the guys nicknamed it Toad Hall because it was quite grand, and from the pictures I've seen, it looks like a fantastic place to record. I can imagine it must have been an interesting experience for the guys to actually record and write a record there over what I think was a 3-month period in the early 70s. So, who have we got on the record? We've got Phil Collins, we've got Steve Hackett, we've got Mike Rutherford, we've got Peter Gabriel, and of course Tony Banks on the keys. On this record you notice from Tony Banks more use of mellotron and less use of piano, which again changed the sound of the band. Now, personally, I think this LP is magical. I think it's probably one of my favourite Genesis LPs of all time. As I say, it's quintessentially English, very, very English. So you've got the songs on here. Kicks off with Musical Box, which is quite something, quite a strange little number, but brilliant. Hackett's guitar work in this is absolutely superb. This LP also features the very first full vocal outing that I know of on record by Phil Collins for Absent Friends. Then you have things like Seven Stones, The Fountain of Salmacis, which became a live staple over the years, Return of the Giant Hogweed. I mean, these were absolute classics, absolute classics. So this LP to me is probably the best thing they ever did. It's so creative. I love playing it to this day. I would say, if not my favourite, then definitely one of my favourite LPs by Genesis. Definitely. It didn't really get much critical acclaim when it came out. There was a mixed response. That's not true of parts of Europe, in particular Italy. Italy took this record to their heart and took the band to their heart, and Genesis never forgot that, and I think that's really nice. They always made sure they played Italy throughout their career as a way of thanking that early support, thanking the guys in Italy and the gals for that early support, which could well have proved vital. I mean, I don't know what would have happened to Genesis had they not had that early support, had they not sold those numbers in Europe. who knows what would have happened? Doesn't bear thinking about. As a Genesis fan, it doesn't bear thinking about. This is probably one of my favourite lineups of the band. As years would go by, obviously, members would leave. As far as the Gabriel era goes, probably my favourite, if not my second favourite, of the entire Gabriel era of the band. So, Genesis Nursery Cryme. Have you heard it? Isn't it spectacular? It's absolutely superb. Now the artwork, as I said before, Paul Whitehead is responsible for this, and 2 other covers for Genesis. I think he nailed it on the head when he said this is his favourite painting, and the reason it's his favourite painting is because it works so well with the music. It has got an English quirkiness to it. It's the idea behind it is basically the musical box. The 2 inspired each other, so that's where that came from. So that's Genesis Nursery Cryme from 1971.